look up the definition of art in the dictionary, you'll probably find a picture of a Renault Caravelle. It's art on wheels, surely. This 1964 Caravelle has been the subject of a 5-year nut and bolt ground-up restoration to better the new condition. It's been mechanically upgraded, so it's very driver-friendly, and as well, it's got an extensive file of every receipt and invoice. It's a show winner, a multiple show winner, and as a result, it's one of the nicest Caravelles on the planet, maybe the nicest. Before we have a look at this Caravelle, let's have a look at the Caravelle's position in automotive history. Don't glaze over, it's not a history lecture, it's about cars. The Renault Caravelle, also known as the Floride in some countries, was born in 1958 as a result of Renault commissioning Italian automotive design maestro Pietro Frua to design a sporty two-door body on the Renault Dauphine's chassis and running gear. The Dauphine was Renault's bread-and-butter four-door sedan. Let's have a look at some examples of what was around in 1958 prior to the Caravelle's launch. What a lot of these 1950s cars had in common was that they were very curvaceous. They used soft, rounded shapes in their styling with pronounced rear quarter panels. There weren't too many straight lines to be seen. What Pietro Frua did with the Caravelle was nothing short of groundbreaking. He discarded the common practice of relying almost exclusively on curves for styling and instead designed a thoroughly modern two-door car based on straight lines, sculptured indents and knife-edge creases. In doing that, he created a car that was at once glamorous, delicate and beautiful from any angle. And this was an affordable car created for the middle class. That demographic lined up to sign up for the Caravelle. And it didn't hurt that the car was photographed with such A-listers as Brigitte Bardot and Sammy Davis Jr. Renault struggled to keep up with the demand. The Caravelle struggled to keep up with the traffic because despite its sporty appearance, it was powered by an 845cc four-cylinder engine. It was famously a sheep in wolf's clothing. This car looks pretty much like a 1958 model, which is good. Mechanically, it's been upgraded to make it much more user-friendly, which is also good. The owner started off with a solid example, had the whole body media blasted, and it was at a panel beaters for 1.5 years. And it shows. The panels are laser straight. If you have a look down the side of the car, everything lines up beautifully. This chrome moulding on the side looks like a spear. The door gaps are consistent each side. There's no evidence of rust, no evidence of bad repairs. Looks better than a new car. And look how easily this door opens and shuts, like a new car. All the bright work has been redone or resourced. The mirrors are brand new. The mouldings for the quarter windows and the windscreen, they've all been polished to within 1 inch of their life, as have the ones on the hardtop. This is the desirable bubble hardtop, which really sets off this car beautifully, and it's been restored too. Been painted black for that beautiful two-tone period look, and the glass has all the side glass has been remanufactured. The only glass that's not new is this huge expanse of glass, the rear screen for the hardtop. That's all been machined, so it's got rid of most of those fine scratches. This headlining has been remanufactured with correct perforated vinyl. There's a lot going on down here, lots of bling. Start off with these wide white walls. In the 1960s, they were de rigueur. That's French. To me, the white walls give cars a more formal, dressy look. They're like automotive tuxedos. Moving in from there, The wheels themselves are painted body colour. You can only see a thin band of that because the next stage is these crisscross mouldings. I read somewhere they're called beautificators. I can't say I'm familiar with that word, but that is held in place by this central chrome hubcap, which in turn is secured to the wheel with this central bolt. Is this interesting to you? If not, just go. Leave. This paint is like a mirror. You can just dive into it. Highly reflective, very shiny and glossy. And because the restoration was finished about 5 or 6 years ago, you'd know if anything was wrong with it, but there's nothing to see here, folks. If I'm going to nitpick, there's a tiny section on the hard top which hasn't even gone through the paint. Looks like it's rubbed against something. No bubbles, no chips. There's a tiny touched up stone chip at the front. And that's about it. Let's have a look in the engine bay. The engine lid has been painted just as slick as the outside of the body. The engine itself, the R8 Gordini engine, has had a full rebuild, and you can see it's got twin Webers and this nice little G on the valve cover. That means it's nearly good for 100 brake horsepower in the old money. The engine bay is also home to the factory jack, which is down here, and the jack handle. And there's a set of tools from 1964 with Renault branded spares. How cool is that? Some cars look better with the top on, some cars look better with the top off. But the Caravelle looks just as good with the top on as it does off. All right, I've been saving the best for last. Have a look at the interior of this car. The door jambs have all been painted. There's new rubbers on the doors, new rubbers on the top. Now, every bit of red that you see inside this interior, that's not carpet, is leather. I'm talking about not just the seat facings, all of the seats, front and back. Have a look at these door cards. Restoring a Caravelle is not like restoring a Corvette or a Mustang. You can't just go to an online catalogue, order something and click and collect. These door cards have to be custom made. The seats themselves, they've been resprung, reupholstered and recovered in this beautiful cranberry leather. The carpets are Mercedes type carpets, a period correct radio.
Well, I spoke with Zach Lloyd earlier and traffic wardens spotted Storm Boy about the 600 probably at least.
And here's a little quirk. The horn is two-tone. I don't know why that didn't catch on. This is a lovely environment to be in, surrounded by all these lashings of red leather. Got a nice little growl coming from the back from that R8 Gordini engine. And this is really the car the Caravelle Renault should have made when they introduced it. Because of all these upgrades, independent suspension, power brakes, 4-speed all synchromesh gearbox. This car's not a chore to drive, it's a pleasure. The car's very tight, there's a lot of road feel, and because the engine's in the back, the steering's light. No need for power steering. You want to hop in?